They told me I was too ambitious. They said I would lose everything, that my dreams were too big for someone like me. But what they didn't know was that ambition was the only thing that kept me going. And now, I'd prove them all wrong, no matter the cost. My name is Emma. I'm 28 years old, and I live in New York City. It's a city that devours dreams and spits them out. But me? I've spent my entire life working towards mine. I've always been the one to push myself harder, to reach higher, because I believed, deep down, that one day my family would see it. They'd see that everything I did, every sleepless night, every moment I sacrificed it was for us, for them. But they didn't see me. They saw something they didn't understand, something they feared: Thanksgiving. It was supposed to be a time for family, love, and celebration. I had been looking forward to it all year finally, a chance to share my success with them. But when I picked up the phone, my excitement shattered in an instant. "Emma," my mom's voice was colder than usual. "This year, it's just us. No kids. It's better this way." I froze. "What do you mean, no kids? What about Daniel's children?" I asked, feeling a knot form in my stomach. I already knew what was coming. "They're more appropriate for this kind of gathering," she said. "You know how your kids are too wild, too much. It's not the right atmosphere." Too wild, too much. Her words hit me like a slap to the face. The life I had worked so hard to build, the ambition I had nurtured for so long, was now being dismissed as a flaw. My kids, my pride, were being labeled as too much for a family gathering. But it wasn't just that. The coldness in her tone, the way she dismissed me, it hurt more than I ever expected. My family, the ones I thought would understand, now saw me as a burden. In that moment, something inside me snapped. I couldn't keep living this way. I couldn't keep sacrificing my dreams for their comfort. I wasn't going to stay in the shadows of their expectations anymore. I didn't need their approval to be successful. But then, as I sat there, anger and hurt coursing through me, something hit me harder than anything. This wasn't just about Thanksgiving. It was about everything I'd ever done to please them. I wasn't just a daughter. I wasn't just a mother. I was a woman with a vision, and I was ready to own it no matter who I had to leave behind. The phone call from my mother echoed in my mind long after I hung up. The words "too ambitious" clung to me like a shadow I couldn't escape. How had I become the problem? How had I gone from being their proud daughter to the one they could barely understand? The family I'd spent my whole life trying to impress, trying to make proud, they were now the ones telling me to step back, to quiet my ambitions. I stood in front of the window in my tiny New York apartment, staring at the busy streets below. The city was full of people chasing dreams, fighting for their futures. And here I was, feeling completely alone, despite everything I had worked for. Every success, every milestone I'd reached, it all felt hollow without their approval. I thought about my kids, Emma and Lucas, and the future I wanted for them. A future where they could be anything they wanted. But as I looked out the window, I realized I wasn't building that future for them. I was building it for them, for my parents, for my family. I had spent so long living for others that I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. The thought of walking away from my family, my past, my foundation, scared me to death. But the thought of staying stuck in this suffocating place where I could never truly be myself was worse. I had spent years chasing approval from my parents, from my family, from society. I couldn't keep doing this, I thought. I walked across the room, my heart racing as I approached my desk. The cursor blinked at me on the screen, mocking me, waiting. This wasn't just an email. It was the beginning of something that would change everything. I had to make a choice. Stay the same, live for their approval, or break free and finally be who I was meant to be. I sat down. My fingers hovered above the keyboard. The words that had been festering inside me for so long now poured out, each sentence heavier than the last. Dear Mom and Dad, I've spent so many years trying to meet your expectations, trying to prove to you that I could be everything you wanted me to be. But I've come to realize that I can't keep doing this. I can't live my life trying to please you anymore. I've chased your approval for too long, and now I need to find my own path. I need to stop living for you and start living for myself. I don't want to be the good daughter anymore. I just want to be me. I stared at the screen, my fingers frozen. The reality of what I was about to do hit me hard. What if I lost them forever? What if they didn't understand? But then, the truth settled in. If I didn't make this decision, I would never be free. I hit send. For a moment, I just sat there, heart pounding, waiting for something to happen. For a phone call, an apology, an explanation, but the only thing I felt was relief. It was as if I had removed a weight that had been pressing down on me for years. I was free. But then came the second wave of realization. What now? I had chosen this path, but there was no turning back. I was alone now, no family, no safety net, just me, and the path I had carved for myself. The phone rang, and I felt my entire body freeze. I had expected this call, but nothing could prepare me for the storm it would unleash. Mom, the one person I'd spent my whole life trying to please. I took a deep breath, my hand shaking as I swiped to answer. Emma, her voice was cold, a stark contrast to the warmth I had always known. We need to talk about what you wrote in that email. I swallowed hard, the words I had been preparing for this moment slipping away. I'm listening, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. What you did, it's not just about Thanksgiving. It's everything. We've given you everything. A good life, opportunities you never had to work for, and you're throwing it all away. Do you really think you can make it without us? Her words felt like punches to the gut, each one landing harder than the last. I could hear my father's voice in the background, muttering, but I couldn't make out his words. It was clear they didn't understand. Mom, I didn't throw it all away, I said, voice tight, fighting to keep my composure. This isn't about abandoning you, it's about choosing myself. I've spent my entire life trying to make you proud, but I've lost myself in the process. I can't keep living for you. I need to follow my own path. There was a heavy silence, and for a moment, I thought she might hang up. Then her voice, barely a whisper, cracked through. Emma, you've always been our everything. Do you realize what you're asking us to do? Let you go, just like that? My heart clenched. I could feel the weight of her disappointment like an anchor in my chest. Mom, I said, my voice breaking, I love you, I do, but I can't keep living in your shadow. I need to be me. I need to live my life, not the one you've chosen for me. The line went quiet. I heard the soft murmur of my father's voice again, but this time, I caught the edge of anger. This isn't just about you, Emma, he said, his voice sharp. We did this for you, for your future. Don't you think you owe us something for all we've sacrificed? I felt a rush of guilt wash over me. Had I really sacrificed my dreams just to keep their approval? Was I really throwing all of this away? I don't want to hurt you, Dad, I whispered, my voice barely audible. But if I don't do this, I'll lose myself. I'm already lost. The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. I could feel the weight of the years of sacrifice that had led to this moment, a burden that had shaped both me and my family. They wanted me to play by their rules, to continue living in their image, but I couldn't. I couldn't keep hiding who I really was. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. But I have to do this, I said firmly. I'm not giving up on you, but I have to give up on pleasing you. I need to build my own life. There was a long pause before she spoke again, and when she did, it wasn't anger, it was defeat. I don't know what to say, Emma. You've already made up your mind, haven't you? I have, I said, almost relieved that it was finally over. But in my chest, a hollow ache had taken root. What was I giving up? What would this cost me? And then, just as I thought the conversation was over, something unexpected happened. I heard Daniel's voice, louder now, in the background. Mom, don't let her do this. Don't you see what she's doing? She's throwing us away, throwing everything we've worked for away. His words hit me like a bolt of lightning. Was I really doing this? Was I really going to destroy everything I had worked so hard for? I'm not throwing you away, I whispered, my voice shaking. I'm not giving up on you. But I can't keep living like this, Daniel. I can't. This is who I am. The phone went silent again, and I sat there, the weight of my decision sinking in. What would happen now? I sat in my apartment, alone with the aftermath of my decision. I couldn't undo it. The email was already sent, and my family had already started to pull away. But the relief I felt from standing my ground was overshadowed by the fear of what would come next. My phone buzzed, a text from Daniel. "This isn't just about you anymore. You've changed everything, Emma. You need to think about this. You're going to regret this." I stared at the message, the words piercing through my heart. Was this really worth it? The fear gripped me, but in the back of my mind, I heard a voice whisper, "You've already come this far. There's no going back." The days after I sent the email were both a blessing and a curse. At first, there was a sense of relief, the kind that comes from doing something you've avoided for years. The chains of my family's expectations had finally been broken, but that relief soon turned into an unsettling silence, and it was as deafening as the weight of my decision. I buried myself in work, hoping to drown out the thoughts that circled my mind like vultures. Every project, every meeting felt like I was just going through the motions, hiding from the truth I had just uncovered about myself. Was this really freedom, or was I just running away from everything? Then one evening, I received a message from Daniel. My stomach churned. It had been days since I'd heard from him, and this time I knew it wasn't going to be a simple text. "Emma, you need to talk to Mom. She's not just upset. She's falling apart. Dad's not speaking to me either. This isn't just about Thanksgiving anymore. This is bigger than anything you've ever known." The words hit me like a physical blow. This wasn't just about a dinner. This was about the entire foundation of my family. I stared at the message for a moment, my fingers hovering over my phone screen. Could I really continue down this path? Could I keep going when I knew I was tearing my family apart? I never wanted to hurt them. But had I crossed a line that could never be uncrossed? I didn't know what to do next. I had been sure of my decision before, but now, the weight of it felt heavier. Was this worth it? A few minutes later, my phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. "I can't do this anymore, Emma. I can't lose you. Do you know how much I've sacrificed for you? All these years, I've tried to give you everything I didn't have, and now you're throwing it all away. You're breaking my heart." I felt the walls close in. Her words were a gut punch, but it was the sense of loss in her message that rattled me the most. My entire life, I had thought my family was a constant, but now it felt like everything was falling apart. I closed my eyes and tried to steady myself. I had to make a choice. I had already made the choice, but hearing her, feeling her pain, made me question everything. Am I really doing this? I thought. Then, my phone buzzed again. This time with a text from Dad. "You've really done it now, haven't you? Do you even realize the damage you've done? You think you're the only one with a future? Your decisions affect all of us. You can't just walk away like that." His words were cutting, sharper than I had imagined. But what struck me the most was that they weren't just about family disappointment anymore. They were angry and scared. Scared of losing me, but also scared of the unknown. Of everything they had worked for falling apart. My head was spinning. I had expected disappointment, maybe even anger. But the depth of fear in their words was something I hadn't prepared for. I sat there in silence, the weight of their messages hanging in the air. I wanted to pick up the phone and call them, apologize, go back to the safety of the life they had planned for me. But that was the very thing I had sworn to walk away from. The very thing I had fought against for so long. Instead, I took a deep breath and typed out my response to them. I knew it wouldn't fix anything, but it was the only thing I could do. "Mom, Dad, I know this has hurt you. I'm sorry for causing you pain, but I can't keep living in a world that isn't mine. I need to make this choice for me, and I hope one day you'll see that it wasn't meant to hurt you. This is me finally choosing my own path." Before I could second-guess myself, I hit send. It was final. There was no going back. The rift between us was now official, and I couldn't undo it. My phone buzzed again, and it was another text from Daniel. "You'll regret this, Emma. This isn't just about Thanksgiving. This is about losing your family, your future, everything." A lump formed in my throat. Regret. That word hit harder than any of the others. Was this really worth it? I stood up and walked over to the window, staring at the city lights. It was so beautiful, so full of possibilities. But as I looked out at the horizon, I felt the weight of my decision sink in. The city felt so empty now. I had made my choice. I had to own it, no matter the cost. The days after I hit send felt like an eternity. For the first few hours, there was a sense of relief, a weight lifted from my shoulders, as I thought I had finally made the right choice. But that relief didn't last long. It quickly morphed into something darker, something I hadn't expected: guilt. I tried to lose myself in work, but every task, every deadline, felt like I was just going through the motions. The silence from my family was deafening, and I couldn't ignore the weight of it any longer. I kept thinking about them, about the hurt I had caused, about the family I was walking away from. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I had always dreamed of being independent, of making my own choices. But now, every decision I had made felt selfish, and that question kept haunting me. Did I make the right choice? The phone buzzed, shaking me from my thoughts. I froze, staring at the screen. It was Mom. The last time I had heard from her, things had been tense. I hadn't been ready for what I might read now. "I don't understand why you're doing this, Emma. You've broken my heart. I don't know what to do anymore. You've always been everything to me." I felt like a knife had been driven into my chest. She didn't understand. My mind raced, torn between wanting to explain myself and knowing there were no words that could undo the damage. But was it too late to fix this? Had I really walked away from everything that mattered? The guilt surged, suffocating me. But then, a flash of anger rose inside me. I had chosen this path. I had to stand by it, no matter how much it hurt. I stared at her message, fingers hovering over my phone. I wanted to respond. I wanted to explain that this wasn't just a rebellion, that I wasn't doing this to hurt her. But the words seemed to disappear every time I tried to type them. Was I strong enough to make this choice, knowing it would break her heart? The phone buzzed again. Another message from Daniel. "Mom's not okay, Emma. This isn't about Thanksgiving anymore. It's about everything we've worked for. You can't just walk away like this. You're breaking us. I don't know how much longer we can keep pretending." I put my phone down, my head spinning. This wasn't just about one decision anymore. It was everything. Was I really about to lose them for good? Could I keep going forward when I knew that doing so might mean losing my family forever? Then I thought of all the years I spent living in the shadow of my family's expectations. Could I keep sacrificing my future for their happiness? How much longer could I continue being someone I wasn't just to keep them happy? I walked to the window, looking out at the city below. The streetlights glimmered in the distance, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay before me, but also the loneliness that now surrounded me. I had chosen this life, but was I prepared to carry the weight of that decision? I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. My phone buzzed again. It was another message from Mom, this time a bit shorter. But it was different. It was raw, honest. "I miss you. I can't lose you. But I can't stop you either. I hope you understand what you're doing, Emma. I just hope you know. No matter where you go, I'll always love you." I stood there for a long time, the weight of her words hitting me harder than I ever expected. My chest tightened, and the emotional wall I had built started to crack. I picked up my phone again, and for the first time in hours, I felt a sense of clarity. I wasn't running away from them. I was running toward the life I wanted, the life I was fighting for. I had been so focused on not disappointing them that I had forgotten about the most important person in all of this: myself. I took a deep breath and typed my reply to Mom. "I can't go back, Mom. I need to do this. For me, I hope one day you'll see that. But I need you to know I'm doing this because I have to live my life, and I can't keep living for someone else's version of it." I hit send, my fingers trembling. This was it. I had done everything I could. The decision had been made, and I had to stand by it, no matter what. I set the phone down, taking another deep breath. There was no turning back now. The weight of the decision still hung over me, but for the first time, I felt like I had taken control of my life. I wasn't just a passenger anymore. I was the driver. As I stood by the window, the city lights still twinkling in the distance, I knew there would be days when I doubted myself. There would be moments of loneliness and regret, but I also knew this: I had chosen my path, and that, in itself, was worth every sacrifice. The weeks that followed after I made the decision to send the email to my family were nothing like I had expected. There were moments when I thought about turning back, reaching out to them, but something inside me whispered, "No, you've made your choice." And despite the loneliness that crept in during those late nights, despite the haunting memories of family dinners that once felt like home, I knew I had to keep moving forward. But then, one morning, as I was at my desk, trying to focus on a new project, my phone buzzed. I hadn't heard from Mom or Daniel for a while. My heart skipped a beat as I read the message. It was from Mom. "I don't know if I'll ever understand, Emma, but I can't just stay angry at you. I've been thinking a lot, and maybe you're right. I've always wanted you to be happy, even if it's hard for me to accept. I don't want to lose you, and I hope one day we can find a way back." My breath caught in my throat. Hope. That's what this message was, a glimmer of hope. It wasn't the perfect reconciliation I had imagined, but it was something. The door wasn't completely shut. I took a long, shaky breath. The guilt I had been carrying began to lighten. It wasn't easy, and it wouldn't be perfect, but I finally understood that family didn't have to be a chain. They loved me, but my choice didn't mean I had to walk away from them completely. It was about balance between the life I had built for myself and the family I still love. I replied to Mom's message. "I love you too, Mom. I don't know what the future holds, but I promise I'll always be here. Thank you for understanding, even if just a little." I hit send, my fingers trembling. The weight of that message felt like it lifted something off my shoulders, something I didn't know I had been carrying. Later that day, I received a message from Daniel. I hesitated, wondering if it would be filled with more anger, but when I opened it, it was clear his tone had softened. "I don't fully get it, Emma, but I guess I've had time to think. I'm not sure we'll ever see eye to eye, but I can't ignore the fact that you're making it on your own. And I respect that. Take care of yourself. I'm proud of you." I stared at the words, a knot forming in my chest. For the first time, I felt like Daniel was finally seeing me for who I was becoming, not just the person he thought I should be. His words weren't perfect, but they were honest, and they meant the world to me. It wasn't perfect. None of it was perfect, but it was a start. I stood up, feeling the weight in my chest lift just a little more. My family might not fully understand me yet, but they had finally acknowledged my journey. That, for me, was enough. I wasn't doing this for them, but hearing that they still cared, that they still loved me, was something I never thought I'd have again. I walked over to the window and stared out at the city. The skyline had always been a reminder of dreams and ambition, but now it felt like something different. It felt like the future, my future. I still didn't know exactly what it would look like, but I did know this: I wasn't alone. The road ahead wasn't just about me fighting for my freedom anymore. It was about finding a way to live fully in a world that was still uncertain and fragile. But with each step, I was starting to find the person I was meant to be. I reached for my phone one last time and sent a message to Mom and Daniel. "I know this isn't easy, and I know we have a lot to figure out, but I just want you to know, I'm trying my best to be the person you've always wanted me to be, just not in the way we thought. I hope one day we'll understand each other completely." With that, I put my phone down and turned back to the window, watching as the lights of the city flickered, each one a symbol of possibility. The journey wasn't over, but I finally felt like I had a place in this world. Not just in the family I had grown up with, but in the life I was building for myself. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, I felt like I had the strength to walk it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you felt connected to Emma's story, if her struggles and growth have touched your heart, please hit the like button. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me know that these stories matter. If you know someone who could relate to Emma's journey, or if you think this story could inspire someone to take control of their own path, share this video with them. You never know how much your share could make a difference in someone's life. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future stories. There's so much more to come, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Thank you again for being here. I hope Emma's story has inspired you to follow your own journey, no matter how difficult the road may seem.